You should know you have to deal with someone who has not learned how to make films. I'm self-taught. In fact, during the end of the Second World War, Munich was bombed and I was only 2 weeks old. And my mother and my brothers were displaced. We fled to the most remote mountain valley in the Bavarian Alps. So I grew up without even knowing that cinema existed. I didn't see films until I was 11, and I only noticed that something like cinema existed. Later, when I was in Munich during my adolescence, I saw Tarzan and Dr. Fu Manchu and films like that. Of course, what would be very highly advisable is watching other films. It's not really my thing. I've never watched many films. I see 3, 4, maybe 5 films, sometimes at a festival a little bit more. But I know, for example, all the French film directors from the Nouvelle Vague, Truffaut, Godard, Romer, Louis Malle, and so on. They were sitting in the Cinematheque watching 3 films a day. Foreign films without subtitles, like the illiterates. They had to learn how to understand the film and the story anyway. It started for me with a very primitive film when I was 14, Dr. Fu Manchu. And I noticed, it was one of these BURC pictures, that in a gun battle, a guy was shot from a rock and he somersaults through the air and disappears in a ravine. And 10 minutes later, another gun battle. And all of a sudden, I see these 3 seconds of the same guy doing the same kick in midair. And I knew there was something fake. I always thought it was true what I saw. And I started to tell my friends there was something, didn't you notice? In this other gun battle, the same guy was shot down from the rock again, and nobody had seen it. And I started to see films a little bit like this. How was suspense created? Very, very important. How do you do that? Hitchcock is a good one, but not the only good one. How do you follow a character and sometimes lose a character and still have him in the back of your mind? How do you analyze? I hate to use this word, but how do you analyze the flow of a picture and the technical means with which it was made? And what I see very often in film schools, even very selective group of young people who go to film school, when you are into the very prestigious ones, for them film history starts with Star Wars. They have not heard of Buñuel or whatever. So see films. I'm speaking to filmmakers or future filmmakers. You have to watch films sometimes first with awe. You just are floored by it. But then see it again, see it again, see it again, and try to figure out how it was made technically, internally, in terms of story flow and all these things. And this precision of understanding the flow of a story is something I always would advise anyone who wants to make films. I think when you are watching films and watch films in film history and watch films from other countries, you notice very quickly, yes, there's something universal about them. How does the flow of a movie somehow articulate itself? How do you create suspense in a movie? How do you start to get the audience on the side of your protagonist? It's very universal, very simple things. And you have to work towards it. We are all in the same basic profession, and filmmaking has universal rules. Whether you are in silent movie era, we are here shooting in the Max Sennett studio, 1916. It was in operation already, and you see the old walls behind me. So, and the rules of filmmaking were the same, and there's the same in India and the same in Brazil. It's a little bit like making children, has universal rules. You do the same thing in Africa and in Uzbekistan to make children. And they're very simple universal rules, and you adhere to them.